Hello everybody, welcome to Catherine Sews. Thank you so much for joining me today. Do you remember the video where I made this dress out of pillowcases and this skirt from men's shirts? And even in that video, I said that I really prefer the dress. I love the dress. I feel great in this dress, but I never could get into the skirt. I don't know why. Honestly, I just did not feel like me. I took off the bottom tier to see if that made it a little bit more wearable somehow, but I still just did not love it. Now in that video or a different one, I can't quite remember now, but I cut off some white pants to be shorts. Well, it was a different video. This was the one where I made the white pants have a bigger waistband. And so to do that, I needed some white denim. So I cut these ones off to be shorts. Okay, long story, right? But in this video, I mentioned that I could do the skirt with the white denim on the top, just the same way that I did a denim skirt with men's plaid shirts, and I adore that skirt. I wore it all winter long. So I could make a summer version of that. So then I got a comment from a viewer saying, oh, what a great idea. I think I need to make a skirt with the white denim top and then the men's shirts. And I was like, you know what? That's gonna be beautiful. That's exactly what I need to do. So that's what I'm doing today. I'm gonna just use the shorts as the top, put this skirt on. So this will be a quick one. I'll just take you through so that you can see the difference that it makes using the denim topper. So I'm all fired up to do that one. So let's just jump right in and get busy. So these are the little shorts that I cut off from jeans to use in that previous video. And now I've got my friction marking pen and I just want to draw a line where I want the skirt top to be. I want to make that line as low as possible, probably about in there and probably about there, but I want it to look reasonably level. Yeah? Okay. Okay. So here are my little shorts with the line drawn. And now to be able to cut these symmetrically, I need to cut right through the crotch. Okay, so that I can lay it out right like that. So I have to clean up this very messy line, and that's going to be my sewing line. So basically what I'll do is kind of clean it up, but about 1/2 inch below that. So I want to make sure I've got a right angle at the front and a right angle at the back. So kind of coming in like that. This edge of my ruler is against the seam, so I can come in like that. Good. And then I kind of just want to have a smooth connection between them. So if I sort of rough it in, I can use my hip curve and get a good line like that. Okay, that looks reasonable. When I did the denim one, I debated about cutting through the pocket or leaving it and having that come over. And I cut it for that one. But a few people said, oh no, I wish they had left it over. So you know what? Let's try that this time. I'm not going to cut right through. Okay, so instead I'll do a little bit of seam ripping there to remove the bottom of the pocket. We'll play around with that. Now before I proceed, I will put this back on and just make sure that line looks level on my body, because that's quite a difference. So I need to just make sure I'm not going too long at the side seams. But first I'll do that little stitch removal there. Now I cut off the waistband and I removed the pockets, and then I also opened up the side seam of this layer, removed it from the next layer. So here's where I am. This top tier is just only slightly bigger than the shorts themselves, so it's not going to have enough gathering to go back on there nicely. It needs a bit more gathering. So I thought, okay, do I just make this tier bigger? But then I'd have to increase the tiers all the way down. So that tier is going to step aside. That second tier is now still going to be the second tier, right? But different top. So that's going to come up. But then I want the length. So I have this is the bottom tier that I had originally cut off in an effort to like this skirt more. I had cut this off, but I saved it, so I still have that. And maybe that's fine, but you know what? I think I want it longer. So I'm going to take this tier that was the top, extend it to go in between these two layers. That's where I am. Because I have more of that shirt, I can easily add to this layer. These two can just stay exactly as they are, and that will just connect from there to there. So that I think is going to work out fine with not too much craziness. So then I have to figure out how much bigger I need to make this. So I'm taking these ones, kind of folding them in 4 to more easily measure, because my measurements can be approximate. this stripe layer is going to be in between these. And so this one finishes at 22, but I've got it folded in 4, so that's 88 inches. This one, 29 folded in 4, works out to be 116 inches. So I need to get this one to be about halfway between 88 and 116. So that works out that I need this one to be about 102 inches. And right now it's less than half of that. Right now it's 20 and a half, so 41. So there, just across the back of what I have left. Oh, I have some rulers at work that are 8-inch rulers. This is 6 inches. So I just destroyed the piece I was going to use. Okay, no problem. I still have the front, so we'll just do an extra button placket in there, or I could get from the sleeves. Oh, that's the thing, is you can't uncut something. Okay. Double checking. Yes. Well, 7 3/4. Let's do. Okay, so first is to just connect these 2 new pieces and then put them into that strip. So I am just serging. If you don't have a serger, you can sew and then zigzag your edges. But on the serger, I just need to do the one operation, just one time down with the serger, just with all the settings kind of at the regular stitch length of about 3.5, and the differential feed at 1. Okay, so now this is going to be just one big long loop. And then the last join here on this strip, and then it will measure about 102 inches. So that's going to be perfect. Okay, so that strip is done. I just did a quick run to the iron to press all those seams flat, because once I gather it up, it's going to be harder to press those. So now to gather this strip, I'm going to increase the differential feed to 2. The maximum stitch length I can use there is 4, just about 4. But if you can do a longer stitch, then I think it helps gather it up more. So this is the button placket that's going to be right at about the center back. So I'll start and stop my serging from there. So it gathers it up just enough. It's not a ton, but it's just enough. And at these button plackets, I just want to keep those edges together, or keep those layers together. Okay, so that's ready to go back together. Okay, it's time to rebuild this skirt now. So I'm going to flip the skirt over the denim yoke and kind of overlap the button placket with the fly area. So now I just want to kind of evenly space this around. It's already gathered. I didn't undo the gathering. It needs to pull up a little bit more. So if you did your gathering on a serger and you just want it to come up a little bit more, then you just take one of the needle threads and just pull that a little bit until it fits the area you're gathering it into. Now I want to keep that pocket out of the way. Maybe I better pin that out of the way. And I probably don't want much gathering underneath where that pocket's going to be. So I'll move the gathering to either side of the pocket. Just keep a tiny bit in that area, just so it's not too flat. So I just want it to look more or less evenly distributed. I can kind of just mush it in where I need to. Okay, so that goes back to the serger. And again, if you don't have a serger, just sew around with your regular straight stitch and then zigzag your edge. And I'm back to having the differential feed at 1 and the stitch length at 3, just to serge these 2 layers together. Now that's where the pocket is, so I just tried to move some of that gathering out of there. Okay, so now this is the tier that was at the top and now it's expanded, and now I'm going to be serging it onto this one. This one I put that little mini rolled serged edge on because this was the bottom of the skirt after I removed that pink and blue one. So this is the old bottom. It's getting the old top put onto it. I've kind of got it roughly in 4, sort of. And so I just need to make sure it's like more or less evenly distributed. So what I'm doing is trying to just find the center of the one layer, and I'll mark that with a clip, and the center of the other layer, and then those can go together. Good, and then I can just put clips in between. No big problem. Okay, back to the serger. So now I'll serge these 2 layers just like I did the previous 2. So this skirt is growing, and I have to say I already like it so much better. I love the white denim on top. I think that's going to be great. Last tier. So this was the one I had cut off. So now it's just going back on. And, oh, I've got to gather this up first. So you don't need to come back to the serger with me. I'm just going to run around the top of this with my differential feed at 2. Okay, so the bottom tier is ready to go back on, but they are now so long that I have gone ahead and quarter marked this tier, like just put a clip at each quarter section, and I've quarter marked this one as well. So now it's just a matter of flipping right side together and matching up all of my quarter points. Oh, good, look at that. So now that just fits together perfectly. That's my first lucky break on this skirt. Okay, and then I just need to serge this one on. Okay, so that tier is back on. So now the very last thing is to sew down the bottom edge of those pockets. So that's kind of different because I'm sewing it onto kind of a puffy piece. Well, we'll see how that goes. And I'm trying to get those gathers to just kind of lay naturally underneath there. That, I think, is fine. There were 2 lines of stitching. I think I'm just going to replace that with 1, though, and call that fine. Okay, done. Let's compare the after to the before. Yes, that's what I had in mind the whole time. This is the vibe I wanted. I love the feeling of this skirt now. And you know what? That denim and plaid one that I made last winter, it's just so good that I'm really happy to have a summer version of it. I think this skirt is just going to be so much more fun to wear now than it was at the beginning of this video. So today was just a lesson in perseverance and in trying different things and not being afraid to open up your stitching, try something else, and sticking with it until you love it. And now I do. I love this. I'm heading out to lunch with a friend now, and I'm going to wear this skirt and I'm going to feel so great in it. So thank you for sticking with me to the end twice on this skirt. And until next time on Catherine Sews, you take care.